right? What's up? What's up? I trust that y'all are doing well, of course, this evening. So, the title of today's discussion is You Can Only Manifest What You Have in the Present Moment. Okay, you can only manifest what you have in the present moment. Let me hit live. Okie dokie. Let's get to it, all right? So, let's talk about this. You can only manifest what you have in the present moment. One side note, all right? Matter of fact, I'll address that afterwards. All right. So we think violence is loud, but one of the quietest forms of violence is waiting. Every time that we say, I'll be happy when, or I'll feel peace once this changes, we crucify the present moment on the altar of someday. Waiting sounds holy. We call it patience, faith, or trusting divine timing. Yet often it is just disbelief wearing religious language, right? It's just doubt dressed up like discernment, right? It's the constant phrase that I always use, is that we try to put a pretty bow on our doubt and call it discernment when it's still doubt. It's still just disbelief. It is you worshiping your doubt instead of worshiping who you really are, all right? So it is the mind's refusal to accept that God is now, right? I meet God here and now. Every moment, right? I stand in communion with God right now. Right? As long as fulfillment lives in the future, the soul remains in exile, right? As long as I'm saying when this happens, then I'll feel happy. When this happens, then I'll have what I want. When this happens, then this and that, right? I'm constantly exiling my soul, right? So Hebrews 11:1, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith, all right? We're going to get into that one a little bit later. So what is this actually saying? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, right? Faith is not waiting for proof. Faith is the proof. I mean, it's clear as day right here, right? Faith is the substance of things hoped for. So faith isn't waiting for proof outside. How could it be when it is the actual substance, right? So faith is not waiting for proof. It is the proof. To wait for what you are meant to embody is to deny your divinity. The violence of waiting is subtle. It teaches you to treat God as absent and yourself as incomplete. I mean, when we really break it down, that's all you're saying, right? That's all you're saying. Waiting for some proof, waiting for something to show up is just saying, I am incomplete until I see it. It's saying, well, God is not in this moment. God is in the next moment. Somewhere far away out there, right? Goes back to the Santa Claus guy, believing God is in the sky somewhere, or out in the future somewhere, when God is right here, right? I'm assuming you meant humble, all right? So John 4:35, do not say 4 months more and then comes the harvest. Behold, I tell you, lift up your eyes and see that the fields are already white for harvest, right? Let's break this down. Let's break this down, all right? So 4 months more and then comes the harvest. Behold, I tell you, lift up your eyes and see that the fields are already white for harvest. What this is doing is just pointing you to right now is the moment. Right now is the only this is the only moment you've ever lived, you've ever experienced. You've never lived in the past. You'll never experience 4 months from now. You will only ever live in this moment right here, okay? The human mind is always postponing paradise. It says not yet. Right? Not now, someday. But spirit interrupts the illusion and whispers, look again. The harvest is never a future event. It is a present recognition. The fields were not waiting to ripen. The eyes were waiting to awaken, right? It's not about anything out there needing to change. It's you needing to change your perception so everything out there can change, because everything out there is just you. All right. The outer world mirrors the inner gaze. And until you see abundance, you will call the fruitful barren. Right. Until you see yourself as perfect, until you see them as perfect. Right. Let me slow down. I know sometimes I can start talking quickly. All right. Earlier today, we had a discussion and we talked about the graduation from lust to love to devotion. Right. And lust is purely me trying to get something, extract something from someone. Okay, cool. And then I graduate to love, right? And love is, this person is my divine mirror, of course, right? And they're showing me parts of myself, of course, right? And we tend to think, well, that's the highest, right? But the highest is devotion. It is, I simply see you as God. Okay, me in your presence, right? I am honoring God, right? I'm at the altar of God when I'm in your presence, and vice versa. You are at the altar of God when you are in my presence, right? And so when we see the situations like this, right? When we begin to have that devotion for life, we see everything is God. Now we actually give things the energetic space to come forward in the perfection that they are. All right. When scripture says judge not by appearance, right? Judge by righteous judgment. This is what it means. Okay. What is righteous? What is righteous? Okay. Righteous does not mean by human standards of morality. Okay. Righteousness means that you receive an image or a desire from source. Okay. And now you actually believe in that image. Going against that is missing the mark. That is the sin. That is walking away from righteousness. Okay? So believing in source, believing in God is righteousness, right? From a human perspective, what are we going to say? We're going to say, well, believing in God means doing all these things that men told you to do. That has nothing to do with source, right? Source is above your laws, above your perspective of right and wrong. God just is. That is all things. So if God is all things, how can God take favorites and pick sides? Right? So when we talk about see things righteously, it means, look, you can either follow the worldview or you can follow you. You can either conform to the world, right? And scripture even tells you, right? Do not conform to the world. Do not conform to the pattern of the world, but be renewed or be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You're going to constantly see things outside of you that look however they look. But do you simply perceive those things as giving you insight, right? The contrast just gives you clarity on what you want and pushes you towards what you want? Or are you looking at them as external truth? Okay? Cool. All right, here we go. When Jesus spoke these words, right, he was teaching that fulfillment is not a distant reward, but a revelation of sight. The harvest you long for is not delayed. It is disguised by disbelief, right? As Neville Goddard wrote, you do not attract what you want, you attract what you are conscious of being, right? You attract what you are conscious of being, right? If you have a low level of consciousness, right? You don't believe that you're source. You want other people to take that small perspective, you will continue to attract lives to go in and make comments like that, right? But when you understand that you are source and you walk in the fullness of the divinity that you are, you will see your life transforming in front of your eyes. You get to pick the path that you want, right? You get to pick the path that you want, and you can make the decision about what you want right now, right? When you awaken to your completeness, the field instantly mirrors that knowing. Every prayer becomes answered the moment it is truly seen. The work then is not to wait, but to look differently. To lift your eyes from time into timelessness and behold the abundance already shining before you. Okay. All right. And to behold the abundance already shining before you. All right. Every time you postpone your joy, you affirm lack. You say with your energy, I do not have yet. And the law of consciousness answers, so be it. Right. Remember, right. God is above your feelings. Your praise, your love, your worship, your bitterness, your anger, your frustration, simply looking to perfectly reflect your state of being. Who do you say you are? You feel sad? That's cool, but who do you say you are through the sadness? You see a situation you don't like, that's cool, but who do you say you are through that? Okay? How do we identify faulty beliefs? Choose things easier, being in the it's done state. All right? All right, let's break this down, okay? Your beliefs are not hidden from you. All right, your beliefs are not hidden from you. Look around, okay? When you look around, you're gonna see your beliefs outpictured all through your life, right? When we say things are limiting beliefs or we say you have these unconscious programs, They're not unconscious. You've just been walking through life and you've accepted certain things as true for so long, you just don't question those beliefs anymore. Those beliefs are just extremely solid. Okay? So the key to this, or the key to overcoming this, is always going to be awareness. When you're walking through life, right? I can feel the comment coming. When you are walking through life, it is, are you aware enough, right, to look out and say, this situation right here, okay? If I accept it as true, does it imply that I am the person I want to be? Well, if not, or if so, then I reject it, all right? This thought that I have of how things are, right? Let's say that you want this loving relationship, right? But you believe all women or all men are a certain way. Would accepting that belief as true keep you separate from your desire? Absolutely. Well, then those are the beliefs that you need to drop, right? So it's just a matter of you being conscious enough to walk through your life and actually be the observer of your thoughts. What are you thinking, right? What are you accepting as true? What beliefs are just running through your mind so frequently that you don't even question them anymore? Is this really how women are? Is this really how money is? Okay, is money really that difficult to get? Will you really struggle through this economy? Do you have to tell that same story? Right? When you really start breaking down the life, right, our experience of life, you're the only person that is narrating. Okay, no one else is whispering in your ear and telling you to believe these things. You're the only one that you have final say so on everything. People can tell you certain things, right? Like, hey, look, man, the economy's bad, but you still have the final say so to say, you're right. I need to really save more, right? Your therapist can tell you you're anxious avoidant, you can't be with these people. You have the final say so to say, you're right. You're right. Let me carry that around. You always have the final say so. So it's about catching yourself in those thoughts, in those beliefs, not even just the thoughts, right? The thoughts come and go, but what are you identifying as? If you don't want to identify as it, the moment you put your awareness on this, you're automatically healed. Because if your awareness is on, I've been telling the story that women ain't shit. Now, if I keep telling that, it's a choice. It's all, it's a choice. Huh? Additional habits. I guess like things that you might be addicted to. Okay, well, all right. The same way that you do everything is the same way. The same way you do anything should be the same way that you do everything, okay? So you can take two paths, right? You can take the reprogramming path where you decide to start, let me reprogram and let me wean myself off of it. Or you can simply decide that right now you can take the identity of someone who's never done that. You can take the identity right now. I've never had an addiction. I've never been addicted to anything. You can take that, or you can take that perspective right now. Damn, I'm stumbling over my words. It's been a long day. You can take that perspective right now. One of the videos cut off for you were saying the paradox of being God. I make a lot of videos. I don't remember which one that is. I don't remember which one that is. I guess I'll look back. But even when I post them, I don't really go back and watch them unless an interesting comment pops up, and then I go back and read the comment. But so you can change your personality right now in this moment. You don't have to wean yourself off or pull yourself off, right? Because even if I'm saying that I have to wean myself off or pull myself off gradually, what I'm saying is I'm still that person. I'm still identifying as this person, a person that needs to heal, a person that needs to fix something, instead of simply making the decision I'm not that person anymore. All right? And it's the same as anything. It's that radical decision to decide that you don't identify with lack anymore, right? That you don't identify with being betrayed anymore. It's you going to the truth. I've never been betrayed. I've always been perfectly loved. Mm-hmm. How do you rewire the neurological pathways that have been in place that don't serve my highest good? Okay. Just the fact right now that you believe that you have something that you have to rewire, that is the only problem. Okay? You believing that there's some story within you that is holding you back is the reason why that story is holding you back. Okay? So let's say that I have a belief. I don't know what a belief to rewire would be. So let's say that I believe that I have this belief that women are a certain way. Okay? And now I say, oh, I have to rewire it. I have to rewire my neurological pathways to think a certain way. Do I? I'm already aware of what I'm saying that I don't like. So now in this moment right now, I have a choice to accept that story or tell a different story. And now in this next moment, I have a choice to tell that same story or tell a different story. So when I hear rewiring, it's almost as if we think that one day if we tell the same story over and over again, automatically we'll just never think negatively again, and we'll just be on autopilot getting good things the same way we were on autopilot getting the things that we didn't want. Perhaps, but probably not. Okay? So you only have right now. And I know I give the same type of answers when we talk about rewiring and neurological pathways, because this is an important thing, and this keeps so many people away from getting what they want. The longer that you believe that you have to go through some long process to change your mind to get things, is the more that you're affirming that you're not who you want to be. You already are that person, right? Now, if you want to rewire, go ahead. Just repeat whatever you want over and over. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to reprogram God. You simply have to decide what you want. And when reality changes, that will be enough reprogramming for you. The whole trying to feel better and feel good to get something, I can't buy into it. You're going to feel better when you get the results. When reality changes and all the things that you desire start flooding in your life, then you are going to feel a lot better. But until then, just know that it's done. Just make the decision on what you want, roll through life, and that's it. All that rewiring is just constantly engaging with that version of you that thinks it's not worthy, that thinks it doesn't have it yet, that thinks there's some subconscious mind or some wired program within your brain holding you back. And there's not. There's just your belief in it. That's it. There is nothing holding you back except for your belief that something is holding you back. All right. Cool. All right. So the present as holy ground. So Exodus 3:5, right? Take off your sandals, for the place where you stand is holy ground. Okay. Hola. All right. Take off your sandals, for the place where you stand is holy ground. Holiness is not reserved for temples or mountaintops. It lives in the immediacy of awareness. Okay? God did not tell Moses that the mountain was holy, but that the moment was. The command to remove his sandals was not about ritual purity. It was about presence. Okay? So when we think about this, I want you to think about the meaning of sandals. All right? Sandals protect, right? Shoes, right? Clothes. They protect, they separate, they insulate. But to meet the divine, one must stand barefoot in truth, unguarded and unfiltered. To take off your sandals is to shed the layers of identity, fear, and distraction that keep you from feeling the sacred pulse beneath your feet. The ground has always been holy. It is only the covered soul that forgets, right? The moment that you're in right now has always been holy. It's always been perfect. It's simply the stories that we tell, the stories that we wrap ourselves in, that I have to reprogram this, that this is hard to get, that money is difficult, that women are like this. It's simply the stories. I'm separate from God. One day it might get better. It's just those stories that keep you from seeing the sanctity, the sacredness of this present moment, okay? Every ordinary instant, every ordinary thing conceals eternity waiting to be recognized. The stillness of the present moment is the burning bush, a flame with God, yet never consumed, right? There's a beautiful part of the story of the burning bush. Because whenever that bush was on fire, right, that bush simply represents the I am, right? Untouched by the fire. The fire was burning, but the bush was untouched. What does that symbolize? Well, the fire of your emotions, the fire of the external circumstances, right? The fire of all those passing thoughts, I am is untouched by it. I am is only interested in who you decide that you are, okay? You do not need to climb higher, go farther, or earn more worthiness. You only need to see where you already are. When you drop your defenses and meet existence nakedly, the veil lifts and you realize there is nowhere God is not. The place you stand, right? The breath you take, the work before you, all of it is holy ground disguised as daily life, okay? Moses was not told the mountain was holy, but the moment. Wherever awareness stands in reverence, holiness reveals itself. The present is not empty, right? It is filled, saturated, overflowing with God. But when we rush, strive, or delay, we miss the eternal heartbeat vibrating beneath everything. The mind, right, that's always obsessed with what's next, forgets that all divine movement occurs within stillness. All divine movement occurs right now, right? The mystics call this kairos, right? We had a discussion where we talked about the difference between chronos and kairos. Chronos represents linear time, the time on the clock, the way that we measure our human experience. We say it takes 15 minutes to get here, 4 hours to get here, 4 years to get there, right? So chronos is the time of the world, but kairos represents the present moment, divine timing, right? Everything only happens right now. When we say things like, oh, this was divine timing, who is the one who decides that it's divine timing? Well, it's us, right? We make the declaration. Why is it divine? It's divine because your divineness is there, right? So when we talk about kairos, we're talking about the present moment. We're talking about divine timing, all right? Just to give you some background. So the mystics called this kairos, not chronological time, but sacred time. It is the instant where eternity pierces through the now. When you awaken to it, you realize the miracle you've been waiting for was breathing through you all along. Okay? Cool. All right, next part. So God in motion. All right, so Psalm 46:10, right? Be still and know that I am God. Something that I constantly say that you should take very literally. Simply be still and know that you are God. All right? And then Luke 17:21, right? The kingdom of God is within you. Stillness, right? Stillness. Being in the present moment. Think of stillness as presence. So presence is recognition. To walk as God in motion is to move without anxiety, to act without attachment, to create without rushing. It is to understand that divine timing is not about when something happens, but who you are when it does. To understand divine timing is not about when something happens, but who you are when it does, okay? The moment you decide that it is done, all of creation rearranges itself to reflect that knowing. The moment that you decide it's done, all of creation begins to rearrange. As Neville Goddard said, be still and know you are that which you desire to be. Be still and know. Be present and know that you are that which you desire to be. Stillness births motion. Presence births motion. Presence births manifestation. You are both the prayer and its fulfillment. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right? And let's go on and do I kind of want to do Q&A. I want to do Q&A. So let's go on and get this done. So I got a couple reflection questions. I have a letter for you, and then we will do Q&A. Okay. Remember, these questions are meant to dissolve illusions, right? When you hear these questions, answer them honestly. Reflect on them honestly. Think about your life honestly, right? Because it is the triggering that allows us to grow. It's the triggering that births expansion. Right? When we're honest about where we are on this journey, we can expand. Okay, so number one, Where in my life have I been worshiping someday instead of living as now? Where in your life have you been worshiping someday instead of living as now? Next up. What areas of my being still wait for permission to feel fulfilled? What areas, what parts of my being still wait for permission to feel fulfilled? Where are you still waiting for permission to decide that you are everything, right? To decide that you are a source. Where are you still waiting for permission? Okay. When are you going to make the decision? Right? When are you going to stop trying to manifest and simply decide that you are already everything you desire to be? When will you stop? On the video I posted today, I made the statement that I thought it was an absolute bar. It says, you are God pretending to be a human, trying to be God. It makes no sense. How could you ever become what you already are? So this journey is not about becoming anything. It's simply a journey of remembering who you've always been. Right? That right there, and I think that was the question, that right there is that divine paradox. It's if you are source, and if you are all that there is, and the kingdom is within you already, then what is there to strive for and seek out there? This is even what scripture meant when it says, seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things will be added to you. And then it said the kingdom is within you, and we're still looking outside of us for everything. But the remembrance that the kingdom is within you, the remembrance that you're made in the perfect image of God, right? That should also be the remembrance that you're already everything that you desire. So it's not about trying to become something. It's remembering that you already are. And when you remember that you already are, and you also remember that in the Father's house are many mansions, it means I can choose whatever perspective I want to view life. I can choose the perspective of I need to reprogram. That I need to do whatever. That women are like this, that men are like this. I can take whatever perspective I want. I can also take the perspective that I'm everything that I desire to be right now. It's all up to me. Okay? It's all up to me. Cool. Number 4. What would it mean to walk as God in motion rather than pray to a distant one? What would it mean to walk as God in motion rather than pray to a distant one? Damn, it just felt like I was quiet for about 3 minutes. Interesting. What would it mean to walk as God in motion rather than pray to a distant one? Beautiful. And I know I skipped 3, so I'm going to go back. How would my thoughts, posture, and choices change if I believed it were already done? If you knew it was done right now, what would you be doing? And now what's stopping you? The realization that the only person that's stopping you from assuming, the knowing that it's done is you. A very powerful realization. Okay. All right, got a love letter for you. Got a love letter for your divine ass. All right, here we go. How many mornings? Matter of fact, let me slow this one down. Okay. I want you to feel this. Okay, this is a letter to myself. Read this as a letter from you to you. A letter from you to you. Okay? Beloved, how many mornings have you postponed your peace? How many times have you whispered soon to the God who only ever speaks now? You've mistaken waiting for faith and delay for devotion. But waiting is subtle self-betrayal. The quiet disbelief that you are already worthy, already whole, and already home. There is no more sacred moment coming. Heaven is not a date on your calendar. It is the atmosphere of your awareness in this current breath. Stop begging time to deliver what eternity already placed within you. The kingdom does not arrive with observation. It unfolds through recognition. The longer you wait for your miracle, the longer you postpone being the one through whom it manifests. The longer you wait for your miracle, the longer you postpone being the one through whom it manifests. The field is already white for harvest. It is your belief that has been sleeping, not God. You have confused movement for progress and patience for reverence. But there is nothing noble about spiritual procrastination. To keep waiting is to say, I do not yet believe. Yet the voice of truth keeps whispering, take off your shoes. The ground beneath you is holy. Stop searching for the sign. You are the sign. Every breath you take is evidence that creation is still expanding through you. So stand still in knowing. The same stillness that holds galaxies spins within your chest. And from that stillness move, right? Speak, create, love, walk as God in motion. When you awaken to the sacred immediacy, the sacred beauty of the now, you realize there was never a delay, only your disbelief in what had already been done. Only your disbelief in what had already been done. There is never a delay. God is never holding anything back from you. That's just your perception. That's just your story. There is just your belief in the delay. There's just this waiting, this doubt, right? This doubt dressed up like discernment. But it's just spiritual procrastination. That's all it is. It's just the illusion of separation. Okay? You are not waiting for the light to find you, beloved. You are the dawn it's been waiting to break through. Beautiful. All right? So a couple affirmations for you. Remember, you're not trying to be these. This is divine remembrance. You're just remembering who you have always been. You're not trying to be these at all. Okay? Here we go. Number 1. I do not wait for God. I awaken as God unfolding through me. The eternal does not arrive. It reveals itself with every breath I take. I know. Next, right? Creation is not delayed. Creation is not delayed. It is happening now. Beneath my every inhale, within my every choice. Creation is not delayed. It is happening now, beneath my every inhale, within my every choice. Key word is right now. It's happening right now. It's your divine ass. Okay? Number 3, I no longer chase fulfillment. I embody it. I no longer seek direction. I am the path itself. This is a big one. When are you going to stop seeking direction? When are you going to stop waiting for somebody to give you the hidden secret, the hidden sauce, and just know that you are already it? When are you going to stop looking for a process and realize that you are the process? When are you going to stop waiting to feel better and simply decide that you are everything that you desire to be right now, no matter what? I am the sauce. You feel me? All right. Next, number four. I am the answer I once prayed for. the Word made flesh, remembering its own power. I am the answer I once prayed for. The Word made flesh, remembering its own power. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right. Next. There is no waiting left in me. Only the endless revealing of what already is. There is no waiting left in me. Only the endless revealing of what already is. Beautiful. Beautiful, all right? And last but certainly not least, right? Last but certainly not least, my life blossoms in the sacred immediacy of now. I am the altar, and this breath is my offering to God within me. I'm going to clap for myself on that one. My life blossoms in the sacred immediacy of now. My life blossoms right now. I am the altar, and this breath is my offering to God within me, right? Just your very breath is proof of your absolute worthiness. Just the fact that your heart is beating right now is proof of your absolute worthiness. Okay, beautiful, right? I am that I am, no matter what. Okay. So this one was a little bit more short and sweet. A little more short and sweet tonight. You know what I'm saying? But, we'll do a little Q&A right now. If you got questions, let's talk about it. If you want to join, go on and hit the join button. Okay? Don't know how long I'll be on, but let's do it. All day, every day, all day, every day. All right. How would you apply this to debt rather than maybe trying to be God? Would you say find peace? Well, I mean, okay. Let's break this down. Okay. I was in a situation where I didn't know how the rent was gonna get paid. Right. I thought I was gonna be evicted. And if somebody had came up to me and said, you know what, just try to find peace, I probably would have slapped the shit out of them, right? Because, so what we have to understand is this, okay? All right, the way you do everything, right? The way you do anything is the way that you do everything. So it's not necessarily that you're trying to find this overwhelming sense of it's done, right? It's that you are simply you're simply reminding yourself that you've already made the choice that it's done. Peace, will peace come? Sure. Okay. Will peace come? Absolutely. Sure. But I am not trying to push a feeling on anyone, because pushing a feeling makes it conditional, right? So if I think that in order for me to get out of debt, I have to find peace in the present moment, well, what happens at the times where I'm not feeling peaceful? What happens when I'm genuinely stressed? What happens when, my woman's in my ear about my bills? What happens when I need to feed the kids, right? It's not about the feeling. It's about me returning to that same story, returning to that same knowing over and over and over again, and making that my story, and then allowing that to manifest in my life, right? When I focus on the feelings up front, I think you can get... Managing your feelings 24/7 can be a very difficult thing, right? That can end up driving you crazy. So I would simply say, go to the story, right? Remember, it's that divine remembrance of who you are. So I'm still going to push knowing yourself as source, right? When I know myself as, I keep stumbling over words tonight, y'all. It must be something in the air or something in the drink. I don't know what it is, right? But when I know myself as source, and I understand that all the attributes of source must be added to me now, well, then prosperity is a side product of that, right? I don't need to chase peace to get prosperity. I simply need to remember myself as prosperity no matter what, and then that can be added to me. So whether I feel anxiety, peace, joy, stress, fear, anger, doesn't matter. I still am prosperity. So it's going to that deep identity Fixing my emotions is a surface level shit. Even if it was all paid, I still would not probably feel peace 24/7. I would still have moments where I feel all kinds of ways. So just focusing on my emotions is like putting a band-aid on a broken bone. Right? It might look pretty, but is it really doing anything for me? Austin Lucas, what it do?
No. I'm prepared. Okay, I'm prepared. I have two topics today.
Alright.
About scripture, if you feel comfortable,
Absolutely.
then I will ask you a question. Because I never saw someone talk about this, and I would like to hear your view or perspective on it. I screenshotted a few parts of scripture.
Alright.
So, right, the foundation is there's nothing outside of you, right? And you can choose version of people, right? In your friends, SP, in business, right? You can choose different version. You see them as perfect, but you don't have to accept this version in your life, right?
Yeah.
So it's about you, right? But then the scripture talks sometimes about to be a servant to others, right? And I thought about it. It sounds a little bit contradicting in a sense. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm a believer, right? I'm not a disbeliever, I'm a believer. So it sounds contradicting, right? On the other side, it's about us, but on the other side, it talks about to be a servant for others, right? So, for example, Mark 10:33, right? But it shall not be so among you, but whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be slave of all. But now the important comes, for even the Son of Man came not to be served, but to the Son of Man has to be a servant to others. And as each, and 1 Peter 4:10, as each has received a gift, use it to serve one another, as good stewards of God's varied grace. Whoever speaks, as one who speaks oracles of God. Whoever serves, as one who serves by the strength that God supplies, in order that everything God may be glorified through Jesus Christ. Right? These two things talks about be served for us. So I would like to hear your view about it, or your perspective about it. From my view, it's like, I see it like, for example, it's a stupid example, but that's how I can explain it. Maybe, for example, if you see a homeless person, then you can see him as successful and whatever. Or if you have a family member who's sick, you can see him as freaking healthy. And maybe that's what they mean with be a servant for others. You are the light of the world, and you can help them, see them, how they want to experience themselves. But that's my only explanation that I have for this.
Yeah. For sure.
This part, like it's about you, but also be a servant for others.
Yeah, I agree. What was the first one? Mark 10 what?
It was 2 Mark 20:43. 2 Mark 10:43.
Oh shoot. 2 Mark 10:43. I'm way off. 10 what? 43:23? My bad.
43 to 45.
Alright, gotcha. And 43. Okay. I guess I did actually have it right. I was just looking at the wrong one. All right. Okay, here we go. So not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant. Whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as ransom for many. Let's read the whole paragraph. the request of James and John. All right. So I'm going to read the whole passage and I'm going to break it down. All right. So absolutely. What it's referencing is your ability to see people as perfect, right? The same way that scripture references and it says, forgive others so your Father in heaven can forgive you. It's simply calling you to see the best version of people. This is why when we talk and we'll say things like, well, you reaching a certain level of consciousness doesn't just help you, it helps everybody. Because now when I see the perfection of all, just like the discussion we had earlier, when I'm actually able to look at people with devotion, right? I see God within you. It does not just expand my reality, my reality expands all these people. I give them the energetic space for a beautiful version of them, the most beautiful version of them to step forward. But let's read the whole thing. Let's get into it. All right. So the request of James and John. Then James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to him. Teacher, they said, we want you to do for us whatever we ask. What do you want me to do for you? He asked. They replied, let one of us sit at your right and the other at your left in your glory. All right. Jesus said, you don't know what you are asking. Okay. Can you drink the cup I drink or be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with? We can, they answered. Jesus said to them, you will drink the cup I drink and be baptized with the baptism I am baptized with. But to sit at my right or left is not for me to grant. These places belong to those for whom they have been prepared. Okay. When the 10 heard about this, they became indignant with James and John. Jesus called them together and said, you know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Am I even reading the right one? Yeah. You know that those who are regarded as rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their high officials exercise authority over them. Not so with you. Instead, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. Absolutely beautiful story, right? So basically they wanted the fruits without the work. They want the fruits without the anointing, right? So we understand, like when we talk about Gentiles and chosen people, Gentiles, we're just talking about people that have not recognized that they are source. They haven't recognized that they are the power, right? So they're constantly trying to get things without that true knowing of who they are, right? So you see somebody that's getting something and you just want to have what they have, right? Whether we're talking about, you just want to say, what process are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? How are you getting it? What are you affirming, right? Instead of simply knowing the truth of who you are and knowing that you are the process. So then when we go even deeper into this, all right, whoever wants to become great among you must be your servant, and whoever wants to be first must be slave of all. That's exactly what you were saying, bro. Right? So when I begin to see people as perfect, as beautiful, as divine, now I can allow them to show up that way. Right? That's all I'm saying. So there's two primary messages. Number one is, of course, it's easy for us to just get the fruits, right? Can you be baptized and drink the cup that I can drink, right? Can you do the same affirmations? Can you do the same visualization that I do? Of course you can. Anybody can do it, right? But do you know yourself to be source? Do you know yourself to be the Son of God? Right? Do you know yourself to be that, right? Because everything that you do without that knowledge is in vain. Make sense?
Okay. And
What was the second one?
you got to something?
Yeah.
Okay. So there are three quick ones.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Especially when we talk about other people, right? Like, for example, like, do you want to manifest your best friend, your SP, or whatever, or do you want to be manifested from them, right? Like, being good of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Like this topic. And I found, and I agree, right? Because it can be perceived as I'm not agreeing, but I agree. But these scripture parts came into my mind. For example, First Romans 12, right? 12:3. First Romans 12:3. And erase it a bit. grace given to me, I say to everyone among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think with sober judgment, each according to the measure of faith that God has assigned. Right? But there are two more. One, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Do nothing from selfish ambition, right? So, and the last one, for anyone thinks he is something when he is nothing, he deceives himself.
Hold up, what was that part? What was the last one?
This was another. The second one was Philippians 2:3, right? Do nothing from selfish ambitions. And the first one that I gave you was First Romans 12:3, right?
Yeah.
From by the grace given. So this was three different ones from different parts, right?
Yeah, we can do the Romans first since it's already up. I'm gonna have to ask you the other verses first. Okay. For by the grace given me, I say to every one of you, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought, but rather think of yourself with sober judgment in accordance with the faith God has distributed to each of you. Right? Well, no man is above another. All right, we can get right into that in a second. For just as each of us has one body with many members, and these members do not all have the same function, so in Christ, we, though many, form one body, and each member belongs to all the others, right? We're all one. Just talking to our divine connection, okay? We have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. If your gift is prophesying, then prophecy is in accordance with your faith, right? If it is serving, then serve. If it is teaching, then teach. If it is to encourage, then give encouragement. If it is giving, then give generously. If it is to be led, do it diligently. If it is to show mercy, do it cheerfully, right? Going back to this present moment, okay? Now, when we think of humility from this, from a human perspective, it will be thinking of yourself as less than, but you are source, okay? So when you actually go through life, you're going to have different seasons where different desires show up within you to be executed. So source is going to give you these different gifts, these different callings as you are on your walk, right? Accept them, right? We have different gifts according to the grace given to each of us. So when you are actually revealed, and when a gift is revealed to you, when source is pointing you towards what you should be doing through a desire in this moment, then do it. Do it humbly. Do it. You don't know who else needs to receive that gift because we are all one, right? My giving of kindness, when I feel like giving kindness, doesn't just help me to feel better, but it helps somebody that could need that kindness. My giving of generosity, right? It doesn't just make me feel better because I'm called to it in that moment, but somebody else could need it, right? So we're all one and the same. We never know when our actions are the opposite end of what somebody else is trying to manifest, right? Somebody else has decided that they need some money. Now all of a sudden you have this desire to provide money in a certain way, and we all help one another because we are one. I move because you need me to move. You move because I need you to move. We're all one and the same. There's only one mind. Stop right there. And then what was the other one? It was Philippians?
Philippians 2:3.
Watch out for those dogs. Is that the part?
Do not follow the selfish ambitions.
Yeah, I'm on the wrong part. 3 Philippians 2?
3 Philippians 2, yeah. 2:3. 2.3. So first chapter and 2 and
You just gonna have to read it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just missing it, I guess. You read it one more time.
Is that do nothing from selfish ambitions or conceit. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, right? But in humanity, count others more significant than yourselves.
I would just point that back to the knowing that we're all connected. Right? I mean, when I hear things like that, the way that I end up translating it is don't try to get over on someone, right? When we talked about like the 5 levels of reality creation, number 1 is using somebody to get something, right? I use to give. We tend to call these people like narcissists or sociopaths or psychopaths, whatever the case may be. But a lot of people are stuck in this low level of consciousness where they're simply trying to extract things from other people, right? And moving. That's how I take it. How do you take it?
Yeah, I thought about how you design. I used to have, so you want what you want, it's okay, right? And it's a selfish reason, you know. And then it was a little bit contradicting for me to read these parts, right? Do nothing for selfish ambitions, you know, like, you know, it's false to want something. I interpreted it like this, you know. I was like, man, on the other hand, it makes sense. It has to have, it talks about this, you know. Believe you received and you have, or something like this, right? And on the other hand, talk about do nothing for selfish. So I was like, where is now the fine line between it, right?
Well,
So I asked, right?
yeah, I think it depends on how you perceive selfish, right? If we look at it metaphysically, right, it's going to be trying to extract value for somebody for my own gain, right? So, trying to get over somebody to get what I want. Instead of, okay, so the opposite of selfish would be knowing that I'm abundant. So I don't have to do anything to somebody to get what I want. I simply have to know that I'm already everything and allow it to come forward, right? I don't have to do something to take away from somebody else so I can get, because everybody is entitled to the fullness of the kingdom. So that's how I perceive selfishness right there.
Okay. Yeah. And the last one is, you know, it's quick. For anyone thinks he's something when he's nothing, it is themselves.
Which one? What verse is that?
2 Galatians 6:3.
Here we go. 2 Galatians 6:3. As for those who were held in high esteem, that one?
Yeah, also for if anyone thinks he's something when he's nothing, it is himself.
I don't think I'm on the same one again. This one says, and for those who were held in high esteem, whatever they were makes no difference to me. God does not show favoritism. I don't think that was it.
No, 2 Galatians 6:3. Like 2 point Galatians 6:3.
That is a great quote, though.
Yeah, it is. For sure.
Or maybe in the Testament.
The more that I beg for forgiveness, the less I receive it from myself.
What the heck? How come I can't find what you're talking about, too? Like, oh. I know exactly why I can't find it. Here we go. If anyone thinks they are something when they are not, they deceive themselves.
Yes, right.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, brothers and sisters, if someone is caught in a sin, You who live by the Spirit should restore that person gently. Well, sin metaphysically is falling out of righteousness, right? Forgetting who you are. But watch yourselves, or you also may be tempted. Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Okay, I don't know how I take that, right? I can remind you of who you are, but I simply need to see you as what you want to be, and that is enough. Talked about that all the time, right? I don't need to sit there and wrestle with you. I simply need to see you as perfect, and that is enough. If anyone thinks they are something when they are not, they deceive themselves. Each one should test their own actions. Then they can take pride in themselves alone without comparing themselves to someone else. For each one should carry their own load. Nevertheless, the one who receives instruction in the word should share all good things with their instructor.
I mean, I think that's the beauty of being able to choose who you are at any given moment.
Keep going.
And just the beauty and the lineage of you being able to bask in the knowing of who you are, right? Anybody can be mediocre and anybody can be great. But when you feel that greatness of who you are, you're gonna bask in what that is, I think. And you can share it with the people around you and the people who also share that great expose of who they are. And maybe that's the least to the greatest, and maybe it isn't, but you know when you're taking care of yourself to the degree of which you would like to share with other people is, you know, like, you don't picture yourself at the lowest times of where you would place yourself. And imagine yourself sharing yourself with the people that you hold at the highest and utmost regards in your life that you've met. It's not, you weren't there. So when you're holding yourself at the highest and utmost regards of who you are, you're going to share it with those people, and you're going to meet likewise people and be proud of yourself and the people that you surround yourself with.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Agree completely, right? And then even for that other part, right? So if anyone thinks they are something when they are not, they deceive themselves. I mean, that thinking that you are something without knowing that you are it, right? It's the same thing that we always talk about, right? Stop trying, stop thinking that you're something, and simply just know that you are. Stop trying to be and just know that you are. So I think that one is pretty straightforward, but I couldn't say it better, Austin.
And that's, you're always open to your interpretation of what you believe and what you perceive. But you always have examples too. And I think that's the beauty of life, is like we can perceive and annotate an anecdote and civilize anything the way that we want to. But when you consider the law of being, or the law of assumption, or the law of attraction, or the law of whatever the fuck, there are laws that we abide by as human beings. That I and the Father are one, and He is greater than I. There's no greater fucking law than what that is. Therefore, I am experiencing this human revelation, but I am also abiding by the laws of something that I cannot understand. So yes, I will always attribute to and abide by the laws of things that I see in front of me that will best benefit me, but I also understand that there's something beyond my attribute, my attribute. Like, there's something beyond my attribution. That's a word?
Yeah, sure. We'll go with it.
You know, but like, there's laws. You know, there's the law of gravity, the law of this and the law of that. Well, there's the law of being, and there's the law of human limitations as far as what I'm concerned, but I'm also not limited by the all that is. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do everything that I need to do to take care of myself in the lesser than of all that is, but I'm also going to identify as all that is and know that there are things beyond my means of understanding in order to be able to divinely navigate myself to the place that I so desire.
Beautifully stated. My bad, I just had to take a deep ass breath. So am I okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I just got quiet for a while. I was just honestly I was gonna wait for a question. I was just enjoying the silence.
As we should.
Facts. Alright, let's see if there are any questions. Alright, source. Alright now. Alright now.
Where's the money maker? That liar.
Playing games.
Yeah, he told me he was gonna be here today. You ain't. I get it.
What else y'all wanna? What other questions y'all got in the chat, man? Y'all kind of quiet today, or y'all just so mind blown that you don't have any questions? Highly doubt that, cause y'all always have an SP question. Well, what about my SP? They did this, and all of a sudden now you're being shy. That's cool. What do I do with my SP? Oh wee.
And what's the SP?
Did have movement.
What is movement? I want to ask you that, Source. What is movement? What do you think movement is? Is movement everything that I decided it was, or is movement only the positive reactions that I think I'm getting from a situation that I desire? Because movement can be interpreted as the things that you don't think you wish to experience, could it not?
Movement, man, there's always movement, even if you don't see it. Who told you that there's no movement? There's always movement. The moment you choose on the side, everything moves. Every fucking thing moves.
Exactly.
It's like a movie, you know. You see a movie when it comes out, but never when the actor acted, right? You never saw behind the scenes. You only see the trailer, right? Oh, this day will come out. Come to the cinemas and whatever, right? But you never were on set with them, right? You never saw them how they acted. Oh, and you don't need to. You saw the end result, and that's the only thing you have to. Well, not very. You have to choose and perceive. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, because who told you that nothing happening was a bad thing? Who told you that the opposite of what you were perceiving is a bad thing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's movement in itself. Even when you have no movement, you have fucking movement because nothing is real. The only reality is what you decide, and everything is moving, so why would you be attached to things that aren't real, that aren't constant, which is what you are.
And I saw also so many stories and hear stories with close friends or whatever, right? It seems like there were no movement, but afterwards, right, when finally materialized, they found out there was always movement, right? But you see it afterwards, not in this moment. You don't see the thoughts from these persons right now, right? You think, oh, because they don't text me, it means they don't think about me, but you never know, right? After you will find out so many times. They thought about you all the time, and they were almost texting you, but then like, oh no, maybe not today, you know, I'm a little bit scared because I did this. It's always movement, you know, even if you don't see it. So stay in your hand, and that's it.
Right, I mean, what even is movement? It's like, this is moving me to my desired reality. I'm now able to feel like the person that I want to be based upon these circumstances.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Am I now allowed to feel okay because of these things that I wanted to happen outside of me? That's the truth. Now I'm finally able to be myself, even though before I learned about any of this shit, I was already doing it beforehand.
I don't know how to.
You know, I like the example from Eric because it's so great example of movement. You know, the game in Squid Game, the story game, red light, green light.
Yeah.
When green light is, you can walk right to the line. You can walk, you can move. But when it's red light, you have to stop, otherwise you get killed, right? So that's the same thing with movement, right? If you don't look at it, everything moves. But at the moment you look at it, like, where is it? Nothing moves. It seems like nothing moves. But behind the scenes, everything moves, right? So if you don't look at it and be this person, everything moves for you, even if you don't see it. Like red light, green light, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what it is. When you're looking for results, you don't find them. And when you're not looking, they move towards you. All those marauders and all those people that are trying to save their lives are moving towards you to give you everything that you wanted, as long as you don't try to look for them. As long as you don't try to be like, oh, fuck, where are you? Where are all these things to prove I am who I am, instead of just being I am, or that I am. And I mean, that can look true to anybody in a million different ways, but I've been proven to know that it's always going to become true based on who I am being at that point in time, in regards to how self in social situations or professional or non-professional situations too.
You know, but also, you know, I have a few friends. I know them since my childhood. That's the science school, right? And with a few of them, sometimes I don't have contact with them for 1 year or something like this, right? So I don't see them, but I know they are my friends, and I know I can trust them. You know, if they have problems, they can come to me, and if I have problems, I can come to them, right? We always had this kind of situations, you know, like sometimes we had 6 months no contact, or one year, and afterwards we connected again, and everyone was like before, right? You know, I didn't see them in this moment, but I knew I'm still friends with them, right? And it's the same thing. Even if you don't see your friend right now next to you or on your phone, you know, it doesn't mean it's not there.
Exactly. The way I think of movement, I don't even perceive people as real if they are outside of my consciousness, right? Like the same way that I always tell the story that if a tree falls in the middle of nowhere, does it make a sound? Well, no, it doesn't exist because there's no one, there's no consciousness there. So if I am the creator of my reality, when people aren't around me, they don't exist to me, right? So the change is instant. Now, the more that I simply accept that change is instant, the less that I have to go through some experience of linear time, so my logical mind, or so my mind can put together some story that feels right to me. But the truth is, it's all instant. They don't exist out there. You're just bred or kind of drip fed drops from the eternity that is within you as you are walking through life, just so the story that happens or occurs or unfolds can match the story of your expectation. But the more that you eliminate that need to see reality as outside of you, as separate from you, the less that you need to see a logical story unfold for them to come back, like, oh, they're with somebody else and all these things have to happen for them to come back. Well, now it's instant. So that's how I perceive movement. I don't really get caught up in the what it should look like. No, it's done. It's instant. They don't exist without me anyway. So how could they be doing anything away from me? It makes no sense to me.
Alright, I got a question. What do you think is the most introspective and important point of everything in the manifestation community in regards to what you've learned and or understand?
Wait, what was the question again? Sorry.
It's a deep one, I know. What is the most important point and or introspective that you've learned or gained from studying the idea and or theory of manifestation in the community?
Okay, that's a great question. It's a great question. But from my experience, it's really this. Remember who I am, and that there's nothing out there. Nothing is against me. Nothing happens against me. No separate being, no devil, nothing, right? Who tries to influence me or others. No. Like there really is nothing outside of me. That was my biggest realization, right? At this moment when I really accepted it for myself, right? Not just think about it, talk about it, but really accept this. That there's nothing out there, because if there's nothing out there, what's there to fear, right? Because you can choose and you have no problem because nothing is out there or against you, right? And it's always a perception. So that was my part.
Yeah, I agree. That makes sense. For me, the biggest one was just I'm the center of reality, right? I make all the rules. I think that was the key item. It's I'm the one who decides that it's working. I'm the one who decides it's not working. I'm the one that decides that movement was good. I'm the one that decides that it wasn't. I'm the one that decides I still have work to do. I'm the one that just simply accepts and knows that everything is changing. It's all a choice. All right. So yeah, it's all a choice would be number two. Number one would be I am the creator. I am source. I am God.
Did it result when you solely became one with yourself and or focused on the things that made you happy in your life?
One with myself.
Hello, buenas noches.
Buenas noches.
How are you guys doing today?
Good, man. How you doing, Yossi?
I'm doing great. I'm doing good. I have a question. I think I have my own perspective for it, and I think I have the answer for it. But I want to hear you guys' perspective as well about it. What do you guys think that humans have been so codependent on love being love dependent on someone else or something, whether it's money or anything else? Like, why do we? Yeah, like why are we so into like we need someone to feel better? We need something to feel better, but it's like all a lie. It's always been within ourselves.
I think that consumerism is cool. The idea of selling consumer is always going to be based upon someone else taking it. But I mean, it sounds like you know just as well that love comes from within you, so we really don't need anything. Obviously, we crave these things as a human. We crave connection and love and bonding. But really, at the end of the day, we've been equipped to be able to resiliently withstand the idea of not having that within ourselves as all it is.
Yeah, to me, it was just kind of, I was thinking about it, and I'm like, everybody's chasing outside, but it's always been within. Like, what the hell's going on? Like, what's all this deal about? You know, like everybody's just chasing. Me, myself, you know, it's like, but it's always been within. But it's so crazy because it seems like we're not conditioned, or we don't know how to tap into those things within ourselves. We wait for something outside to reflect that, oh, like I feel peaceful because I have this. Oh, I feel happy because I have this. But it's something has to, like, you have to, it seems like it's like thing, because I feel like I look at humans and everybody's chasing for the same thing, peace, but it's never out there. And to me, it's just so crazy because it's like it's a lie. It's never been out there. I'm like, why do we have to go through that as humans? How can we just cannot know something just so simple, but it's been so hard for everybody just to understand and just to come to the fulfillment of it. I don't know. I was just kind of just thinking about it, and to me, I was like, why are we so dependent? And it's always within ourselves, but we can't even tap into it, and we don't even know how to a lot of the times.
It's part of the game as well.
Yeah.
It's part of the divine game as well, right? You descend into forgetfulness to experience yourself as source, right? So let's say that you just were born with all the knowing that you were everything, right? And that there was no separation. How fun would the game be then? Well, maybe thinking about it from this perspective, we're like, oh, well, I could have avoided a lot of things. Well, would you truly have gotten to this point where you have the perspective to be able to even choose what you want, right? So, it's still part of this divine, beautiful game where I couldn't experience the love that I am without the illusion of separation.
Yeah, I agree. It's beautiful. Every time it's a blessing because it leads you back to yourself. And really, it's really, we are life. Life itself. And life wants to experience it itself.
Mm-hmm.
Life wants to experience life itself, right? That's why we're here. To experience the infinite possibility of ourselves. The good and it includes the bad things also, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's why you know what you actually do want. And it's a blessing that you actually, if you want to see it like this, experience everything twice, right? First inside, as a simple outside. Now we can enjoy it also outside of you, right? If you have it, but remember it first inside you. So also you always experience everything twice, and it's a blessing, right? I mean, blessing.
I always go back into like, but why couldn't we just come here and for all of us to just experience love? Like, why do we have to experience contrast? Like, why can't everything just be beautiful?
Who says the contrast isn't beautiful?
Go in depth, Alex.
So what?
Go in depth. Thank you.
Well, I'm saying that the only person that's judging it not as beautiful is us, right? We're the only ones judging everything as good or bad. Who's to say that it's not all beautiful? And who's to say that right now, if you just started perceiving everything as beautiful, everything wouldn't simply switch to be beautiful, right? We have the power of choice. None of us have ever lacked the ability to choose exactly what we want to experience in our reality. So me saying how come everything isn't beautiful is just a denial of my own power. Because I can choose to see everything as beautiful, then everything will be beautiful, right? So we all have had that innate ability, that inherent ability to choose whatever we want. So we have been in the contrast and chose more contrast.
I love that. Then we're going back down to conditioning. Somebody else said that wasn't a good thing to experience. So now I'm also going based on what society says. Just, it's not perfect because somebody else said that wasn't supposed to be the way it was supposed to be. So now everything doesn't look right.
Right. It's just somebody else told you that, right? Somebody gave you a definition and said this is right, this is wrong. When shit, it's all right because it's all unfolding to what you want anyway.
Yeah, as if tomorrow held all the evidence that I wanted, who told me that today wasn't perfect, except for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. It comes back with source content. Without content, you wouldn't know what is beautiful. And I have a great logical example. Right? So imagine, there are people out there. They grew up with rich parents, right? They're blessed with a great lifestyle, right? And they take it as granted. It's nothing special. living anymore. You know, sometimes they're also a little narcissistic, right? And then nothing special for them. They don't really appreciate it because it's normal. It was always like this, right? But for other people, it will be the biggest thing, right? It will be so great. So you only can have appreciation if you know the context of it, right? Like these people, like these kids, didn't know the opposite of it, and they don't appreciate really like maybe we do sometimes, right? And it shows you perfectly why we experience sometimes this quote unquote bad thing, because then you can appreciate it even more, right?
Wasabi's gonna come up here and question every one of your values.
Yeah, you.
Let's
She's ready for that.
discussion. I'm ready.
No, I do want to highlight this question though for Kim. The difference between manifestation is instant versus everything is unfolding perfectly.
Question?
To me, it's the same because you judge the finishedness, the end of the manifestation by you simply deciding, right? You are the beginning and the end. So me accepting that it's done, like when you affirm for something, you're not affirming reality, you're affirming you. So I make a decision that I am prosperity, I am this. It's done. I've said it. It's done. I have become that. Right? Now reality simply unfolds to switch. So the manifestation is always instant. However, right, the unfolding of reality to match you, and reality is rearranging to be you because reality is just you. Well, from a human perception, that could be more or less instant because if everything was instant, shit would be falling out the sky. Right? So it's always instant, but what are you basing your manifestation on? If you're basing it on the outside, you're always going to be looking around, waiting for some shit to happen anyway, and you'll never get what you want. You'll just be constantly chasing your tail. But when you make it about you, I have decided that I am it. Your manifestation is always instant. It's always unconditional. And now it's unfolding. The unfolding does not mean it's not done. It means it is done because you have changed. Reality is just rearranging to match you. And I agree with you, Sims. I feel like gratitude is beggar energy. It's like, if I don't have anything around me to be grateful for, what I'm gonna be grateful for? So people will say like gratitude, like
it's good to be grateful for the things that you have, right?
Yeah.
It's delusional to be grateful for the things that I'm not grateful for.
Exactly.
Right? So it's like I'm so grateful for modernism. It's like, yeah, I am grateful for modernism. I'm grateful for living in my house and all this shit, but like, is that not the standard at this point?
Right.
When it comes to me having fucking toiletry and me having a kitchen, and you know, like those are things I can be partially grateful for. When it comes down to food and the lifestyle that I want to, I don't have to choose to be grateful for the things that I'm not yet expecting for the person that I am. If I'm expecting greatness and sovereignty in regards to my career beyond my publication of where I'm at, I don't have to sit here and just be like, I'm so thankful for all the things that I haven't achieved. Like that's not. You don't have to act like that.
Yeah.
No, it's good. It's good to be happy and grateful for the life that you live every day. But when it comes down to the goals that you're achieving and the things that you've already done, you don't have to fucking like everything's already done. You know, it's like you don't have to act like all these things are true for you right now.
Yeah. Thanks. When I hear that you should be grateful to get something, I just imagine somebody just looking around pretending to be grateful when they got the shittiest life just so they can get something and nothing changes. They just end up staying in that same position, right? You don't get stuff by trying to bribe God through your emotions and feelings. You get something by deciding that you have it.
Right, and by deciding that you have it is going to induce and influence not only the thoughts, the personality, the actions that you are as a person. You're going to be the person you decide you are. And if you're not seeing the results of the person that you are, you simply didn't decide that and are not acting on that.
Yeah.
And if you were acting on it, the person that you decided that you were, you would learn how to be the person that you decided you would be if you did not know how to become that. And that may be based upon other teachers. You know, you can do your own esoteric
Yeah.
dive and be like, I'm this person no matter what. I'm the kung fu master that developed all my own techniques. It's like, you know what? Go fucking do that. But there's so many examples of how to be the person that you already know that you are. That you really, you know, like every question is an answer. And that's the beautiful part of all this shit. When you have gurus and teachers, it's like the question is always answered with the question. It's always very evident in the questions that people ask. And once you finally get to a point where you're like, oh shit, like, I didn't even, this is rhetorical. I didn't have to ask this question. I just want to hear what you have to say because I think you're maybe a little more knowledgeable than me. That's the point that you lose yourself because I never had to ask a question because every question that I had was already been answered by myself.
Mm-hmm.
When you realize that there are no questions, there are only answers.
But my target with my SP don't want me anymore. What should I do now?
Continue to be the best version of yourself as you would be in order to have this person. Alright, there aren't any questions, there are only answers. Because would you not be the best version of yourself in order to have your specific person even when you have them? Would you not be participating and mediating yourselves in regards to the way that you thought the best of yourself, even if that meant today I woke up with a new perspective or moral, today I woke up deciding I was going to do this for me to make myself better. You would always be doing those things. So you should be doing those things regardless of whether your SP is there or not, but that's the type of things that will attract your SP to you because of who you're being in those moments and deciding who you are.
It's so funny, you know, really. Oh man, when I look at this community sometimes, not this particular one here, but you know, this community, they believe in this whole stuff. We're not judgment, but it's so funny sometimes. And then they do tarot card readings. Oh man, so crazy. Nothing is powerful with me. That's the main thing.
Hold on, what just happened?